I wanted to start this out by saying thank you to all of you guys for supporting us this last year before our trip with fundraising, prayer, just everything that our congregation has done for us in the last year to be able to make this trip possible. So we took a group of 22 youth. This is just a fraction of the kids that we piled into cars with and drove 16 hours each way. And a couple of our adults as well. We had one other adult with us on the trip. So before the kids talk about all of the fun that we had on the trip, because I'm sure most of them are not going to make as many faith connections as I will during their memory talks, but I wanted to share kind of the faith aspect of the trip that we went on. So we started out Sunday, Sunday with learning about the woman at the well story. So I figured it was fitting to do that as well to start off our presentation. I really liked that as a start because it told us a little bit how Jesus reached out to those who wasn't normal to reach out to in that day and age. It was someone who that most Jewish people would turn away from, especially a woman who wasn't of the same faith. And so I really liked that as kind of a starting point for us to go out and serve people who we might not normally experience interacting with here in Wapaka. The overall theme of the week was suffering turned into hope. So we spent a lot of time looking at our own lives and some of the suffering that we have been through. And so that can be a very heavy topic for kids to look at and think about for 5 days straight. But we also then learned about perseverance and how God gives us suffering to learn how to handle it in the future with bigger issues or other suffering. And then after that, we learned about character and how God builds character within all of us, not by what others put onto us, but what we do ourselves, the choices that we make. And I really liked those themes as we journeyed through the week of service. And then on the last day, we learned about this hope that we kind of had been talking about throughout the week and how God supports us through our suffering to give us hope. And he's always there walking with us. So now we will hear from some of our youth and adults that were on the trip, some memories and experiences that they had throughout the week.
The weeks leading up to the mission trip, I was anxious, nervous, scared, and to be honest, not that excited. I had no idea what opportunities I had or what great people I would meet. The people I have met on this trip will be lifelong friends. My crew that I worked with on the job site was amazing. We cleaned disabled people's porches in the hot sun. That wasn't the best, but the people I was with definitely made it worth it, and seeing how happy and grateful the residents were. We played bingo with the elders and laughed with each other. I met people from all over. Most of the people I got close with were from Pewaukee. We walked around town, played ghosts in the graveyard, played card games, did a lip sync battle. We got last place, but it was worth it. I still keep in touch with most of these people and won't ever forget the impact that they had on me. Another amazing thing about the mission trip is how much closer we grew as a church. I never knew the amazing community we were until this trip. We all grew so much closer and had such a special bond. I enjoy getting to know everyone more and creating memories we won't ever forget. My favorite part of the mission trip was that I grew so much closer to God and built a strong relationship with him. I never knew what people meant when they said that they could feel God, but for the first time ever, I understood. I was talking to a woman named Donna, and she touched me in a special way. I immediately started bawling. The sun was shining. I was with these amazing people, and I realized my purpose. I can't explain how it was God, but I could just feel him in his presence. It opened my eyes and made me realize that life is so beautiful, and you shouldn't take anything for granted. Everything is a blessing, and this trip has helped me live by that. I will forever be grateful for this week, the people, and how much it has helped my relationship with God.
The mission trip was something that scared me for the reason of the uncertainty of the whole trip. At first, when we arrived at the church, I didn't want to be there because I was scared. I only knew my group of friends, and I didn't really want to meet the new people. I was really homesick. But then we were assigned our crew, and I sat at the table with them, and that's when those people changed my life for the better for the rest of my life. Kenny, Aubrey, Grace, Sophia, Josie, Julie, and Noah were so welcoming and kind. It's like we have known each other forever, even though we just met. Well, besides Josie, I've known her for my whole life. We went to work with the Respite Care Center all week, and we made a connection with all the kids we met and played with them all day long. I personally made the biggest connection with a little boy named Fisher. We went bowling one day of the week, and no matter if he knocked down all the pins or not, he ran around giving everyone high fives, yelling, I won, and then came straight back to me to make sure I knew, and I held him till his next turn. He was the cutest and sweetest kid ever. The kids at the Respite Care Center are all unique in their own ways and stay at the center most of the time, so they don't get a lot of social time and people skills. But as the week went on, we could watch those people skills and their own personality traits grow. It was so touching and truly amazing to experience. I can't believe I was lucky enough to get to not only meet the amazing people in my crew, Grace, Sophia, Josie, Julie, Noah, Aubrey, and Kenny, but also all the amazing kids that changed our lives and brought a new perspective on how we can grow in ourselves. We had a lot of moments on this trip, too, as a crew that we could really feel God with us, especially when one of our kids, Otto, ran off from our site when we were all taking care of some other kids. Aubrey was watching Otto that day and immediately went to run and go find him because all he wanted to do was make sure that Otto was safe. Their connection throughout the whole week was amazing. After about 20 minutes, we finally found Otto. It was the biggest sigh of relief at first. But then a cloud of worry towered over me and Kenny immediately again. Kenny and Aubrey came together from their youth group in Louisville, Texas, and have had a connection with each other that was quite evident to our crew from the beginning, and he grew such a connection to Aubrey from the first time that I met him. So right as we knew Otto was safe, we needed to make sure Aubrey was safe too. We went on a good 20-minute walk to go find Aubrey, and we knew no matter if we couldn't find him ourselves, God would lead him back to us in Otto. And he did. He was right there when me and Kenny came back to our crew. Aubrey truly is an amazing soul that brought light, laughter, and happiness all week long. All in all, over this whole mission trip and talking with our crews each and every day, it showed us how much we can be there for each other in times of our own unique times of suffering. We all shared our suffering and how they changed us in character and how we can forge ahead through suffering, and that brought us closer and closer throughout the week. I truly will never forget these people that impacted me on this trip, and I will always stay in contact with them not only for our laughs and inside jokes, but also just in case they need some extra support in life. So I really do thank not only Trinity for giving us the opportunity to go on this trip, but thank you to Grace, Sophia, Josie, Julie, Noah, Aubrey, and Kenny for changing my life forever.
Over this past summer, Faith Ventures took a mission trip to Loveland, Colorado for acts of service in the community. I was accompanied by many of my close friends and even my mom. We were almost all split apart into different crews and were assigned a place to serve. Mine was Respite Care, which is a nonprofit organization that provides 24/7 quality care for children with development, disabilities, and respite to their families, enabling them to enhance their quality of life. The first day was very wide-opening to see. I understood what an amazing organization this is and how it isn't easy to work here at all. I fell in love with the kids, and it was a hard goodbye to leave such a great experience.
Hi, my name is Jake Foss, and what? Oh, okay. Hi guys, my name is Jake Foss, and I was one of the adult chaperones on this trip. So I'm not quite as well prepared as those people with something to say, but I'll still try my best. I'll speak more broadly about this trip. So just for some context about me, I've gone on quite a few trips like this when I was in college, and this is my second time chaperoning for a trip with the high schoolers. And something that I want to touch on is that for these trips, like on the surface, they sound like they are fun, but there's a lot of things that are like uncomfortable or scary about going on a trip like this. Is like you're going to a place that's very far away from your home and like your family and your friends. You're in a long car ride and you're sleeping in a strange, unfamiliar place, which in this case was on the floor of a church where you had basically no space. And it's just like, it's just a lot to take in, and it can be like very challenging to take in, like when you're in high school and even like right now. Like this kind of trip was even like hard for me, and I've gone on quite a few of them. So I just want to say that throughout the week and throughout this trip, I'm very proud of all the youth that came with us, and it was a pleasure to watch them just like grow in their faith, learn through their experiences, and grow closer to God and one another, and to watch what good work could be done through service in the community. And I'm also thankful for Trinity for providing the support for us for these trips, and just for like giving the opportunity for us to go on trips like this in the first place. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
I, like Jake, did not prepare for tonight, but I will I will do my best. My name is Nicole Bodenheimer, and I, along with the 4 other adults, my daughter Maggie did allow me to come along. We had a great time. This was my first time experiencing this. I was a little bit nervous, and like Jake said, you truly are going out of your comfort zone. Not only were we traveling 16 hours one way, but we also, Jake and I were co-pilots, we're driving other people's children, and going 80 miles an hour on an interstate in spots where you didn't even have cell signal at times. So yeah, there were some unknowns, but man, what an experience. I, along with 2 other adults, worked for Habitat for Humanity. So, you know, as some of the kids and the adults are sharing their experiences, my job was with these adults and these youth doing landscaping all week. And I thought, oh boy, I know nothing about landscaping. That's my husband's job. However, it really, truly, Olivia's here. She was on my crew. It truly was a great experience, even though it was 95 degrees, to see the residents come out and be grateful for us to be doing the work that they are not able to do, and so very, very appreciative. And that's what this was all about. This was about sharing God's faith and God's work and doing things for this community of Loveland, Colorado. And as everyone will be sharing, boy, we sure got close as a group. Us girls were in a room with 17 total girls sleeping on a church floor. But man, I could never, I mean, I will forever remember, I guess, all the laughs and including the air conditioning unit that did not work in our room. Great kids. For all of you parents, you should be ever so proud. These high schoolers were amazing. They were very well behaved. And thank you to Trinity for allowing us to go and to sponsor. I think these are memories these kids will never forget, nor will I.
Wait, is it on? Yeah. Okay. I'm Jack, and just like Jake, I wasn't prepared for this. I mean, I was a little bit, but yeah. I liked the week, okay? Like, this week was a solid 9 out of 10 week. It's definitely gonna go in the top 5 weeks in my book, okay? So, the best part was probably going up to the mountains, like, just having a good time there. I got to, like, help out at a rehab center, I think, and the old people there were just nice, sweet. We got to play games, we got to help out, we got to do a whole bunch of stuff there. It was so fun, and the people in my team, I think it was Bella, I don't know the other 2. I think it was, but it was definitely a fun week. We got to hang out a lot. We got to hang out a lot. I usually sit on my phone a lot, but that week I didn't really. I may be gone on my phone maybe 10 minutes out of the whole week. So, like, that's usually good for me. But, like, yeah, that's it.
I'm Olivia. So before this trip, I was very nervous, not really excited to go because I get homesick really easily, so I was like not excited at all. But when I got there to the first day of our work site, I was very excited actually because landscaping is something I enjoy. So that was exciting, and there was this one resident. He would always say like positive quotes to us whenever we would get there. One positive thing he said to us was like, make this day like amazing and everything. And whenever we'd get back to the work site, we'd say like he was just a God sighting and everything. So he made our days a lot better. sorry, I'm not really too prepared for this. But a lot of thanks to a lot of people who got me through like my homesickness and everything, like Nicole. She was always there for me. I met 2 girls on my trip, Maddie and Allie. They're from Wisconsin as well, and they really got me through my trip as well. I'm really grateful for going on this and actually having a really fun time than I thought I was going to. So yeah, just very grateful for that.
I was also not really prepared for this at all. I made some friends along the way when I was in Colorado, and I helped take care of a lot of like flowering, like gardening, whatever. And I was also working at a food bank, like sorting the rotten food, I guess. I don't know. That's all I got.
I was nervous like a few weeks. I was nervous like before mission trip. I was nervous, but then when we got in the car, it got like we all got closer to each other, and that was like helpful to not be homesick. And I really liked working. I did landscaping for the first half of the week, and I really liked doing that because it like you could see all the people and how much it helped them. And the second half of the week, I worked at a respite center, and I just really liked working with the kids and seeing like what they have to go through every day. And I also like going up in the mountains. It just made me feel really close to God.
Well, I'm prepared for this tonight. Actually, no, I'm not. But this was my 4th trip going with Trinity and the youth. And as always, we raise children, and you send your kids out to do something like this, and watching each and every kid that was on this trip experience God was truly something amazing, because there really isn't one that I can think of that I didn't see that or witness to it or have them talk about it. So that part of it was absolutely fantastic. I'm always very grateful for the support that the congregational members, parents give to our youth program. And I think it's always well worth it because, again, these kids will take these memories with them forever. For me, my daughter, too, let me come on the trip. They also, again, let me drive the bus. I don't know why they keep letting me do this, but this time just a small dent. And that was the bird's fault and not mine. So I got a really good work site with Mr. Jake over here. And so it was a 2-part work site. The first big mission that we helped was a place called Help International. That was a nonprofit that was started from an Army nurse. And she started a school in Uganda, Africa. And they send shipments over there all the time, and actually they send shipments all over the world. When we walked into one of the areas, they had little pins all over the entire world. And it was amazing to see all the different places that where they did and what they did touched and reached out. They supply their shipments through a thrift store that they have located next to or in a small town by Loveland, Colorado. So our first day, we got to go in there, and that store's managed by a lady named Cece. Is this live streamed tonight? Okay, because I told Cece to watch us on Sunday. Anyways, so Cece in herself, where Delaney talked about what the kids were experiencing through the week, her whole life was that story in a nutshell. And like the first day that we got there, Cece was, just grew up in a drug home. She experienced a lot of trauma as a young lady. And she just went on to talk about how God and just kept pushing her and being homeless. I mean, it was just one thing after the other. She ended up in Colorado, and she said the one thing with all the multiple things that she had going on was that she sat under those Rocky Mountains, and she just looked at them and she thought, how small am I and how big is God? And I will keep that statement with me, I think, for the rest of my life. She talked about, you know, all the problems that she was going through, all the multiple things that we can all, you know, so much all the time. But just to think of those mountains and what God and how big God is, that we really are small as some of those problems. Not that they're small problems, but, you know, God's got us. So she was just inspirational. The people that also ran the shop every day, it's like during the day we have a little time that we sit and we do devotions, and they would all speak up too. We met a lovely lady that was, again, from Uganda, Africa. She had moved to the United States. She talked about some racist issues that she encountered in her life. One of the other ladies that, and these were all kind of like disciples of Cece's that she kind of picked and said, here, come work at my store. She had another elderly lady, again, some stories that she shared with the kids. It was absolutely amazing. But the best part, right, Jake, the first day we got to take down the mannequins and then we got to redress them. They get all kinds of donations in, so we got to sort through those and pile them. One of the days we went to the Help International, we went to their big warehouse, and that was just filled with huge bins. We cleaned out, our crew, like 6 of those bins. They could not believe how efficient we were. But it was just like Christmas. Every little garbage bag you would rip open and be like, ooh, what's in here? Sometimes you'd find designers, you know, jeans or a real cool purse, or the next time you would find something not so great, right? Yeah. So it was just, again, an overall experience that was amazing. The kids, again, long-term, long friendships that they gained from this, but mostly just the gain in their faith. And mine especially, I think this is the most, one of these trips has just grown my faith in seeing Cece in the amazing work that she does. So thank you, Trinity, for supplying that to us.
So I was actually going to touch on the God moments that we had throughout the week too, kind of like Heidi did. And I think I didn't see a single kid that I didn't see God working through that week from our group. Every kid had said some moment to me that really stuck out to them throughout the week. And like Presley said, that she came home that day from the work site and she said, I just really felt God today. And that just really like made me feel good in that. Throughout the week, I was at an adult day center with one of our youth, and he was not about it the first day. I remember him asking if he could change groups, because it is a bit uncomfortable to work with people who have disabilities that you're not comfortable around or haven't been around or experienced before. But I think my favorite moment from that week was we designed activities that we adapted for the adults to be able to participate in. And one of the activities that the youth had picked out was to do chalk. And there's quite a few adults there that were in wheelchairs, so obviously getting down on the ground to do chalk would be a very difficult task for them. And for him, he figured out there was these wooden dowels, and he duct taped the chalk to them so that the adults could be out there doing chalk with everyone else participating. And I think that was kind of the one moment throughout my service sites that really stuck out to me, as seeing that growth from wanting to change work sites to being able to overcome that and create an adaptation for the adults like that. So next I'm going to touch about next year's trip that we are going on, just a little bit of a promo. So next year's trip is the ELCA National Youth Gathering. It's down in New Orleans, and we will be spending a week down there with roughly 30,000 other high school youth. I have never experienced a National Youth Gathering before, so it's completely new to me, but I've talked to a lot of people who have. And it's a really great opportunity to create relationships with other youth, as well as grow your own faith and do some service projects. It's a lot more of learning rather than doing, but I definitely think it's a great experience for kids to have. So that trip is in July next year, and our registration deadline is October 15th. Anyone in 8th through 12th grade is welcome to come. So we just got to get those signups in so that we can get registered. And then,
I mean, you might have stinky sleeping conditions. You might have long road trips. But again, this is all well worth it.
yes, yes. And it should hopefully not be as stinky or cramped this year because we get to stay in hotels this next summer trip. So no sleeping on church floors this next year. If you guys want to sit down, we have a video with some pictures